Hello, everyone, and welcome to a super special Tech Tidbit. Today, I've got special guest Lee Boone from InFiles. Lee, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are to InFiles?
Hey, Julian. My name is Lee Boone. I'm a product marketing manager over here at InFiles. So I'm just glad to be here today and kind of walk you through this great integration that we have with Umango.
Really excited that Lee is here with us today, so let's dive into this thing.
It's the Tech Tidbit in Umango.
With InFiles. All right, Lee, let's jump into Umango and let me show you some magic. So right now we are on the dashboard, but we're gonna go over here to jobs, and I've already got a job built for this, and it's called scanning into InFiles. So I'm gonna open that job. So we've got a lot of tabs up here that we can use to dial this job in, but there are two tabs that I want to look at. The first one is called zones. Now, zones to Umango are what assignments are to InFiles. Is that right?
Right. That's exactly right.
So you told me that we were missing a zone that you'd really like to have, and that zone is client name. So silly me, I forgot to add that zone in here, but I'm going to go and add it now. Select new zone and draw the zone over the portion of the document that I'd like to capture. And that's going to bring up a little dialog box where it lets me kind of, put the settings for the zone. So client name, right, Lee?
Right.
Cool. All right, so client name, we're going to make that OCR text. I'm going to stick with Abby. There's a lot of options here, as you can see. Let's go ahead and save this client name zone. And that's looking pretty good. All right. Now, let's jump over to our destinations tab. And so Umango works with a lot of different, what we call connectors or backend systems. But one of our favorites is InFiles. So as you can see, I've already got InFiles set up here as a connector. So I'm going to go ahead and hit configure so I can show you some of the stuff that I've got in here. I've got my InFiles server URL. That's nice and beautiful. I've got my username and password. All of this comes from InFiles because I am connecting directly to my vault. Everything looks good here. And oh, there's our assignments. Like we mentioned, this is kind of where you can translate those zone properties to be assignments in InFiles so that those can kind of talk to each other. We've got our document name, and we're actually using merge fields to name this document. So client name and invoice number, that's going to be the actual name of our document when it gets over to InFiles. So that's pretty cool. I got to come to connection. I got to test that connection. It looks beautiful. We're connected, Lee. It's a beautiful thing. So everything looks good here. I'm going to save that and save and close the job. And now let's do some scanning. So I'm going to use a function called document drop here in Umango. I'm going to take my invoice here that I've just received, and I'm just going to drop that into my scanning into InFiles job. And it's going to spin up and work its magic. And I'm saying it needs some intervention. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll intervene on this batch. I want to make sure everything is right. So we've got the amount due on the invoice. Umango is reading that information and it's giving it to me here down the amount due. This is transforming into metadata that can be read by InFiles later on. We've got our project completion percentage. I'm happy with that. Got our invoice number. Everything's looking really good down here. Spec house, yeah, that looks great. And finally, our brand new zone that Lee just had to have. Client name. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna save that and export and close. And now Umango's working its magic, and it's off into the ether and on its way to you, Lee.
So as I'm here, I'm able to go through and click on my Superior Woodwork folder. And now that I'm here, I can easily click on Spec House. And once I click on Spec House, I can check out what documents I have, and I can see that invoice here from Rachel RFW Builders. As I
Nice.
click on it and look at the metadata that's been put in here, every zone that was taken from Umango has been applied here. So I'm able to see that
Yeah.
client, that invoice title, that invoice date, and that number all here. And if I want to check out and preview that document for a second, all I have to do is click on preview right here on the right. So now that entire document's here, all of those zones, that signature, everything, and I can see it all in one screen. What's really great and where we really allow you to do more and think less is also with our searching and filtering tools. So if you ever needed to search for any other invoice in here, you can easily look for an invoice by searching invoice. And it's going to bring up every single type of invoice that has that
Nice.
word in here from that metadata property. What's great and what really helps you to find things and truly find that one document that you're looking for is our ability to have advanced filters. So whether it's in this direct vault or another repository, you can easily choose your repository from the side, what document type it is, whether it's an assignment, a document, any metadata properties. If it's a PDF, a PPTX, or a document, any kind of file extension, all of that can be easily filtered through to help you find that exact document that you're looking for.
Nice. That's awesome. So, but as far as like, having this document in there now, there is a way that you can, say that someone needs to know that this document's just been scanned. Can you talk a little bit about how you would, I think it's a workflow that you guys use?
Yeah, so what's really cool about workflows are that you can easily attach that to any document based on that class. So whatever zone you scanned in, we were able to take that, convert that to that class, and now we can take that and add that workflow from here. So if we needed to get this proposal
Nice.
approved, we can easily set that and click on the proposal workflow. We can click on needs approval.
Yeah. So anyone in InFiles, you can set this up in InFiles to where whoever needs to see that this invoice has been scanned, they're going to get a notification that says, "Bing, like new invoice has been scanned."
Absolutely. And the second I hit save here, it's
Yeah.
going to go directly to my supervisor. So now they can approve it in purchasing. And that way that can go out and those transactions can be made.
So Lee, what I'm really loving to see here is, Umango is doing a lot of work, and kind of on the back end of things, but it's really nice to see that work like actualized here in a document management system where you're receiving all that metadata and you're, organizing it by that metadata and making it really fast to like get to that file. Like I'm really enjoying seeing all those zones and all that metadata come across to infiles and how you guys interpret it. I think is actually really, really cool.
Yeah, just our partnership along with Umango allows us to streamline so many processes that were so manual before. Your tool and your zones alone allow us to capture our metadata and put it exactly where it needs to be. So now in Umango and in InFiles, there's less time thinking and more time for us to do things and get things done and get processes done. So your tool is exactly what InFiles is looking for to help as a complement and help any worker in their day-to-day life.
All right, everyone. I hope you really enjoyed this super special tech tidbit with our guest, Lee Boone from InFiles. We'll see you next time.
Have a great one.